Hey everyone, I'm Mike from theparkprodigy.com, and on today's video we're going to break down some of the best tips and tricks on how to get those hard to get Disney reservations. And yes, we're talking about park reservations, Disney dining reservations, Disney World hotel reservations, and so much more. So if you are in the process of planning a Disney World trip and you do need a little additional help, just be sure to stick around until the end of this video, as we're going to try to break down everything and give you some of the best tips and tricks to make sure you get exactly what you need. I'm really excited for this video, so let's go get started. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. Like I said, we are about to break down the best tips and tricks on how to get those hard to get Disney reservations. And as we all know, Walt Disney World is so much more than just attractions and fireworks, and they offer so many more experiences for guests to book and try out during their next Disney World trip. Now, booking extra magical experiences like dining reservations or even making those reservations in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge do require a little bit of strategy to make sure that your family does get the reservation that they are looking for. So with that being said, that's why we are creating this video, just to break down all of the hard to get reservations, and starting with the most common one at this point, and that is, don't forget that Disney park reservations are still a thing. So make sure that you make whatever date you want in the parks as quickly as possible. There's really no benefit to waiting to make your Disney park reservation if you know you're going. And really at this point in time, I would say that this is the most important if you're visiting during those school breaks, so spring break, definitely June and July, summer vacations, and of course around the holidays. And if you do need a little additional help making those Disney park reservations, we actually have a complete video on exactly how to do that, which we will leave a link to in the show notes. Okay, so moving along, and we're going to take a look at what is most likely the most popular topic when it comes to hard to get Disney reservations, and that is the restaurants. Now, as we all know, the Disney restaurants are extremely popular, and it's not just because they have amazing food, but they also have amazing theming, which just adds to your Disney World experience. And it's really the same case, not only for inside of the theme parks, but also for over at those Disney hotels, right? The Disney hotels have some of the most amazing restaurants in all of Orlando. And one of the most popular questions that we get is, Mike, can I go and can I dine at one of the Disney World restaurants inside of the hotel, even if I'm not staying there? And the answer is yes, right? So you'll definitely want to be prepared. And what we are essentially doing right now, we're going to break down the hardest Disney dining reservations to get. And we're going to start with the parks. Over at Magic Kingdom Park, we do have Be Our Guest. We have Cinderella's Royal Table. Over to Hollywood Studios, we have Hollywood and Vine, the Hollywood Brown Derby. We have Olga's Cantina, Sci-Fi Diner, which is my personal favorite. And then moving over to Epcot, we have Space 220. We have Takumi Thai. And then over to Animal Kingdom, we have Yak and Yeti. And we have to give one special shout out to a brand new restaurant that did just open up at Disney Hollywood Studios. So it's surely, we have to add it to the list, and that is going to be Roundup Rodeo Barbecue. Okay, so moving over to the Disney hotels, and we're going to start over at the Boardwalk, and we do have Beaches and Cream, which is at the Beach Club Resort. We have Topolino's Terrace, which is at the Riviera Resort. We have Ohana at the Polynesian Resort. We have Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian Resort. California Grill at the Contemporary, and then we can't forget Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review. So here are some of the best tips and tricks for getting those hard to get Disney dining reservations. And of course, just like it sounds, book as early as possible. So Disney dining reservations open up 60 days before your trip, and we would say they open up at 6 a.m. and you really have to be online at 6 a.m. and that is Eastern Standard Time, right? So you have to be on the My Disney Experience app, or you have to be on a desktop. We personally try to do both when we're making reservations for our clients. We'll do both. Just because we find that sometimes, the website might be down, you jump on the app, vice versa. And another great tip and trick, and it's important to mention that if you have a Disney World vacation package, you do have an advantage when it comes to Disney dining reservations. And the reason being is the way that it works is it's essentially the 60-day mark from your check-in. But what will happen is, let's say that you're planning a Disney trip and you're going to check in on November 1st and you're going to stay for 7 nights. Well, what will happen is when your 60-day window opens up on November 1st, you can actually book Disney dining reservations from November 1st through the 7th. So it's essentially through your stay. However, let's say that you're not staying at a Disney World hotel. Essentially, what would happen is you can only make your Disney reservations for November 1st. You would actually have to make your Disney reservations every single morning if you're staying in Orlando for 7 days. So as you can see, there's a huge advantage to staying in a Disney World hotel. And of course, we think Disney, is doing this on purpose. So another great tip and trick, taking it one step further, is if you know that you have some really, really hard to get Disney dining reservations, what we'll typically do is we'll make them towards the end of your trip. And the reason being is because just like it sounds, not everyone is going to have access to the November 5th, November 6th, November 7th, right? If a majority of guests are not staying in a Disney World hotel. Okay, so another really, really important tip and trick when it comes to Disney dining reservations, and we would say be flexible with your times, as it's easier to find reservations, in a time window that are not as popular. And what we always tell our clients is, especially when it comes to Disney dining reservations, is it's almost always the restaurant you want or the time you want. It's almost never both, right? And of course, the reason being is just because Disney World is such a huge attraction for families, right? Especially families with young kids, and young kids have to be in bed at a certain time. A lot of families looking for those early dinner reservations, right? Or they'll have those early lunch reservations to just tie in to their plan. So what we typically will see is if you can kind of, zig when everyone is zagging. So if you can do lunch reservations, let's say at 2 or 3 o'clock instead of at 12 o'clock, and if you can do dining reservations at 7 or 8 o'clock instead of at 5 o'clock, you'll have that much more of a chance of getting your hard to get Disney dining reservation. Okay, so another important one is that you can book multiple reservations for the same day, right? So if you're unsure which restaurant you want to go to and you don't know what time works best for you, you can make more than one, Disney dining reservation, let's say for dinner. They can't overlap, so you can't make 2 reservations at 5 o'clock. But you can make one reservation at 5 o'clock, one reservation at 8 o'clock, just to give yourself as much flexibility as possible. What we would say, and just to be fair to everyone else, trying to get those reservations, is once you do know that you're not going to use that reservation, make sure you cancel. And also, just very, very important, is make sure you cancel regardless, because if you don't cancel your Disney dining reservation, and if you are a no-show, you will be charged a penalty of $10 per person. Okay, over to the next tip and trick for Disney dining reservations, and we would say just continue to check, right? Be sure to continue to check if you don't get your reservation the first time through. A lot changes within the 60-day window, so something might pop up. We even have a free tool over at the Park Prodigy where essentially you can let us know which restaurant you want, what time you're trying to get, and we'll continue to check and we'll send you a notification if that reservation does become available. And the last tip and trick for the Disney dining reservation is Disney actually now has the walk-up wait list. So it's in the My Disney Experience app, where you could check to see if any restaurants are accepting walk-up, or waitlist dining at that point in time. Again, we actually have a complete video on exactly how this works. I use this all the time, especially on my trips now, because they're more, like on the fly sort of trips, and I absolutely love it. It's not guaranteed. Not all of the restaurants will have walk-up availability, but with that being said, I feel like it's a great way to get those last-minute reservations in on the fly when you're in Walt Disney World. Okay, so switching it up a little bit, and we're moving over to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has 2 of the most popular experiences in all of Walt Disney World. Specifically, we have Savvy's Workshop, the lightsaber building, essentially. So guests can build a lightsaber for $199 for up to 2 people for 1 reservation. So it is just 1 lightsaber, but they essentially allow 2 people to come in and enjoy the experience. And just like the other ones, and just like the Disney dining reservations, this is a 60-day advanced reservation system, and it opens up at 6 a.m. on the My Disney Experience app. So the Droid Depot is the other one that we did want to mention. It is a similar, essentially build your own droid. It is really, really popular, but it's not as popular as the lightsaber one. And typically what we find is that you can, for the most part, get walk-up reservations, if you just show up at the Droid Depot. Okay, so the other really, really important one that we do have to mention, and this does not have to do with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This has to do over at the Magic Kingdom, and that is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. This is by far, one of the most common questions that we get, how to get these reservations, just because they probably fill up quicker than the Disney dining reservations, to be honest with you. And so for the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, the important thing to keep in mind is it's the same thing. It is a 60-day window, but for this one, it's actually 12 a.m. at night. So at midnight, you can make those reservations. And one of the things that I hear constantly from the vacation planners, as I meet people in the industry, is when they have clients and they have to make the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at 12 a.m. So they're up at midnight, and then at 6 a.m. they're up again making those Disney dining reservations. So if you are using a Disney vacation planner, just be sure to thank them, because we do work extremely hard to make sure you have the best vacation possible. And I don't know why Disney has the times all over the place. It doesn't make any sense to me. But again, for Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, make sure that you are making those reservations at midnight. Okay, so another really, really important one to keep in mind is the Disney World virtual queues. And I'm kind of sending you guys to a lot of videos, but we do have just a lot of in-depth detail on a lot of the moving parts that go into a Walt Disney World vacation. We do have a complete video on how the virtual queue system works at Walt Disney World. The important thing to know is that there are 2 rides at this point in time that you do need a virtual queue reservation to get onto this ride. And those 2 rides are Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and then Tron Light Cycle Run over at Magic Kingdom. And the important things to keep in mind is you do have to be up at 7 a.m. to try to get your virtual queue. So be sure to plan around that. Be sure that you have, Wi-Fi service. Be sure that you are on your My Disney Experience app. Be sure that everyone from your party is linked, and just keep that in mind if you are trying to go on either of these 2 rides. Okay, so last but not least, and we're going to look at hotel reservations and really vacation package reservations, because again, one of the things that we do see is that a lot of families, especially, because of the craziness going on in the world today, a lot of families are trying to book last minute trips. And what happens is, unfortunately for Disney reservations, a lot of them go quickly, specifically for the hotels. So there's 2 really, really important things that we do want to mention. Specifically, for the most part, Disney vacation packages are typically released around June for the next year, right? So at this point, at the recording of this video in May of 2023, Disney World vacation packages have not been released for 2024 just yet. However, Disney World hotel-only reservations have been released. So if you have your heart set on a Disney World hotel that is extremely popular, and the room type is extremely popular, and you can make that Disney World hotel reservation up to 499 days in advance. The important thing to keep in mind, though, is that you can't actually upgrade that Disney World hotel only reservation to a vacation package, right? So if you have that room, what you have to do when the vacation packages are released, if you do prefer a vacation package, you would actually have to cancel that room and try to rebook the same room under a Disney World vacation package. If you're worried that you won't be able to, kind of rebook that room, then just keep the room. And then all you have to do at that point is just go and you buy your Disney World tickets. Is there a big difference? I would say the biggest difference is for the way you pay for it. For a Disney World vacation package, all you have to do is put $200 down, and then you could pay over time. In this scenario, you would have to put at least 1 night down for the hotel room, and then when you go to buy those tickets, you'd have to buy them the full amount for the tickets up front. So from a cancellation standpoint as well, you could definitely cancel the room, and there's flexible cancellation policies. With the tickets, though, unfortunately, all Disney World tickets that you buy from them, the Park Prodigy, whatever it might be, are non-refundable. However, you can always change the start date, and you can use those tickets in the future. So I would say when it comes to Disney World, hotel reservations, those are the most common moving parts, and some of the things to keep in mind if you do have your heart set on a specific room at a specific hotel. Okay, so that is it, everyone. That is the list on how to get those hard to get Disney reservations. Those are some of the best tips and tricks, and those are some of the things to keep an eye out for. Hey, hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you definitely have to make a reservation for those Disney dining restaurants, and of course, you can't forget about all the other moving parts. I really, really hope that you found this video helpful, and if you are in the process of planning a Disney World trip, and you do need a little additional help, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video, and until next time, I will talk to you soon.